Have you ever wondered how a state-of-the-art naval destroyer ends up colliding with a Coast Guard ship in broad daylight? Or why such an incident took place near a disputed maritime territory? Well, let's dive into the recent events in the South China Sea that have left many scratching their heads. Just a few days ago, a Chinese Coast Guard vessel and a People's Liberation Army Navy destroyer collided. Now, this wasn't a minor scrape in some remote corner of the ocean. This incident occurred near the contentious Scarborough Shoal, a territory claimed by China, despite an international tribunal ruling against its excessive maritime claims back in 2016. Picture this. Two Chinese ships, one a highly advanced destroyer, the other a Coast Guard vessel, significantly damaged in a maritime territory that's been a hotbed of disputes for years. The situation raises many questions. For instance, what led to this unusual incident? Why was such a highly advanced destroyer involved in a confrontation near a disputed territory? And most importantly, why did the Chinese ships collide while reportedly chasing a Philippine vessel that was simply delivering aid to fishermen? Interestingly, the Chinese Coast Guard confirmed a confrontation, but conveniently left out the part about the collision. This, despite the fact that the clash left their vessel unseaworthy. Was this a mere oversight or an intentional omission? As we explore these questions, it's crucial to remember that the stakes are high. This isn't just about a couple of damaged ships. It's about sovereignty, international law, and potentially invoking a mutual defense treaty between the Philippines and the United States. But here's where it gets even more intriguing. The Global Times, a Chinese newspaper, is pointing fingers at the Philippines, claiming they are to blame for the incident and must pay for the damages. But is there more to the story that we're not seeing? Could it be that the Philippines is to blame for this incident, as claimed by the Global Times? Keep watching until the end for the answer. And while we're at it, why not hit that subscribe button and give this video a like? It only takes 3 seconds. Now let's dissect the claims made by the Global Times and see if they hold water. The incident in question involves a collision between a Chinese Coast Guard ship and a People's Liberation Army Navy destroyer. This event took place near the disputed Scarborough Shoal, an area that has been a hotbed of contention for years. What's interesting about this incident is the circumstances leading up to it. Reports suggest that the Chinese vessels were involved in aggressive maneuvers while pursuing a Philippine vessel. The Philippine Coast Guard was on a mission to deliver aid to fishermen in the area, so the question arises, why would a humanitarian mission invite such aggressive pursuit? Now let's examine the aftermath of the collision. The Chinese destroyer sustained serious damage, rendering it unseaworthy. In the maritime world, it's customary to offer assistance to vessels in distress, regardless of nationality or circumstances. The Philippines, true to this maritime code, extended a helping hand to the Chinese sailors. But surprisingly, China refused this assistance. Why would a country refuse help when one of its vessels is in distress? This brings us to the claim made by the Global Times, stating that the Philippines is at fault for the collision and should bear the cost of the damage. However, the facts presented paint a different picture. The Philippines was on a humanitarian mission extending aid to fishermen. They offered assistance to the distressed Chinese vessel post-collision. On the other hand, China was engaged in aggressive maneuvers and refused the offered help. It's also important to note that an international tribunal ruled against China's excessive maritime claims in the South China Sea back in 2016. This ruling further supports the notion that the Chinese vessels were acting outside of internationally accepted norms. So who's really at fault here? Is it the country delivering aid and offering assistance, or the one initiating aggressive maneuvers and refusing help? This is the question we must ask ourselves as we delve deeper into this incident. The answer may seem clear, but as with most things in life, there's more to this story than meets the eye. Keep watching until the end for the answer. And remember to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying our deep dive into this intriguing event. This incident isn't just about a collision at sea. It's part of a larger ongoing dispute. Let's zoom out a bit and look at the larger context. The South China Sea, a vital international waterway, is a hotbed of territorial disputes involving several nations. The Scarborough Shoal, where this incident occurred, is one such contested area. China has been claiming sovereignty over this area, asserting a 10-line policy that encompasses nearly all of the South China Sea. This claim, however, has been met with resistance, not just from neighboring countries like the Philippines, but also from the international community. In 2016, an international tribunal ruled against China's excessive maritime claims, stating that they were inconsistent with the international laws of the sea. Despite this ruling, China has maintained a continuous presence in the disputed waters, enforcing its disputed maritime claims and often resorting to aggressive maneuvers, as we saw in the recent collision. This has been a point of contention, with the international community calling for China to respect the tribunal's ruling and for freedom of navigation to be upheld. So, when we look at the recent collision, it's not just about two ships at sea. It's about a larger issue of territorial disputes, international law, and freedom of navigation. It's about a pattern of behavior that continues to escalate tensions in one of the world's most important sea routes. The collision then seems to be a symptom of a larger issue. So where does all this leave us? Who's really to blame for the collision? As we've walked through the facts surrounding this maritime mishap, the answer becomes increasingly clear. The Philippines, delivering aid to its fishermen and committed to safeguarding maritime operations, is not at fault. Let's revisit the scene. In the disputed South China Sea near the Scarborough Shoal, a Chinese Coast Guard ship and a People's Liberation Army Navy destroyer were involved in a collision. The Chinese vessels were engaged in aggressive maneuvers, even employing what some experts have called an overkill tactic by involving a highly advanced destroyer. This aggressive posture, far from ensuring control, resulted in significant damage to their own ship, rendering it unseaworthy. In the midst of this chaos, the Philippine Coast Guard was merely performing its duties, delivering aid to fishermen. They were not the aggressors, but rather the ones enduring hazardous maneuvers and blocking actions from the Chinese vessels. This brings us back to the question we left unanswered in the first chapter. Was the Chinese Coast Guard's refusal of assistance a sign of guilt or a mere act of defiance? Both possibilities suggest a reluctance to admit fault. Yet, turning down aid in a situation that could potentially lead to casualties speaks volumes about the reckless approach taken in this incident. China's continuous presence in the disputed area, despite an international tribunal ruling against their excessive claims back in 2016, is a consistent point of contention. This incident is a clear demonstration of the risks involved in such aggressive tactics. In the end, it's crucial to note that the freedom of navigation is a universal right, one that should not be infringed upon by unyielding territorial claims or hazardous maneuvers. This incident serves as a stark reminder of the potential consequences of such actions. So there you have it. It seems clear that the blame for this incident lies not with the Philippines, but with the risky maneuvers of the Chinese vessels. The overzealous pursuit of disputed maritime claims resulted in a self-inflicted wound, a stark lesson in the perils of aggression. Thank you for staying with us until the end. We hope you found this analysis enlightening and engaging. For more amazing content, make sure to hit that subscribe button. And remember, always keep wondering. Don't miss out on future explorations and discoveries. Hit subscribe and ring the bell to stay updated with our new content. Your journey of wonder continues with every video. Stay connected and engaged on social media. Continue the conversation, follow us. Thank you for being a part of the Have You Ever Wondered community. Keep wondering, keep discovering. Until next time.